Happy October! Come and join me and let's see what our dream teams have in store for us this week. Hello, Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive. Welcome to another Winged Oracle reading for the week of October 4th. Hoping everyone is doing well and that you're all happy and healthy and healed and whole and safe and having fun. Let's call in all the archangels, ascended masters, highest guides, light beings, creature teachers, elementals, loved ones in spirit. Come on into this space to give us the clarity and guidance we need, I want to say, to really understand the direction that we are on as a whole and how that affects us in our individual lives. So let's shuffle up the deck here. Today I am reading from Chase Voorhees' Tarot of the Holy Spectrum. So let's see what this card is going to share with us this week. Oh, Four of Swords. So, and I think we got this recently. I think we got this in September as well. I love this card because this card really gives you the opportunity to say, where am I overthinking? Let's take a rest. Let's take a break from the monkey mind. Let's get out of our heads and into a place of, I want to say, surrender. This is a recharge card. It's saying when you get out of your head, it allows you to really connect with the heart and the soul spaces to really make more, I want to say, more connected decisions. When we are out of the head, and I talk about this a lot, the heart is the captain and the head is the first officer, and the head and the ego are connected. And so the ego's prime focus and prime purpose for living is really, in a lot of ways, its own survival. It's there to take care of you, it's there to protect you, but it's also there in a lot of ways to protect itself and to say, wait a second, we've been here before and it didn't go well, we don't want to do that again. What happens with ego is sometimes it gets so overinflated, so out of the scope of growth that it says, wait a second, we can't do any of this stuff. We have to keep things exactly as they are. And that's just not life. That's not life and living. Life is constantly about change and evolution. And this card this week is saying we have to get out of our heads and go more into a heart-spaced place in order to be able to, I want to say, be successful with our decision making and be successful with where things are at on an emotional level. So swords is the realm of the mind, mental energy, thoughts. It's in charge of communication. And sometimes we need to communicate with the heart and the soul rather than communicating with the head. I know that it goes totally against everything, it's contrary to what we have been taught for so many years, but that's the whole point of this change that we find ourselves in. The old ways of doing things aren't working anymore. It's not serving our highest and best. So I set our intention to be exploring sort of the global aspect of things, or the macrocosm, and then how it affects our lives in the microcosm. Change happens with each one of you. Change happens with me. It doesn't have to be a huge movement in order to make change. It's about what can I do in this moment right now to change the way that I'm thinking about my life or the way I'm thinking about this particular experience. Maybe I'm hearing kids, parents, maybe the way that your parents taught you to do things isn't working for your kids. Maybe it's about stopping in that moment and saying, wait a second, we've been on this merry-go-round for quite some time. Maybe I need to stop. I need to get off that merry-go-round and try a different tact, try a different approach. Maybe it's more of a hands-off approach and saying, you know what, I want to give you the experience of empowering yourself, making your own decisions, making your own choices. There are consequences for choices. Some of them are good consequences, some of them are bad consequences, but they're yours because you're making the choice. If you're not a parent and dealing with kids, in terms of this being your life, it's about saying, where in my life am I allowing my head to lead when it's a heart-based situation or a soul-based situation? Where am I allowing my head to take charge and me giving my power away to that headspace, all of my power away to that headspace or to that ego, when really I can take a step back and approach it from a more loving perspective, or approach it from that soul knowing, that inner soul knowing. So this week I feel like the guidance is really paying attention to how often you are making decisions from your head when the situation calls for a more a heart response. I guarantee you all of us do this on a consistent basis without even realizing it. And it's time for us to step off that merry-go-round and make some different choices, or simply just to become more aware of how much our mind that is connected to the ego drives our decisions. This is something that we can change. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to change overnight, but when it does change and it does shift and you take that one step towards, that shift, what a powerful shift that is. What a difference that makes. And we are here to make change. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a big movement. You don't have to have 50 million people in your space in order to be able to make that happen. It starts with, what can I do in this moment right now? And that in turn will also affect the global energy, the global picture that we are all in. That's how change is made. Ooh, I love that. 4 is also about foundation, setting the foundation. There's an energy of manifestation with this as well. It's, okay, I have something really cool that I want to bring into my life, or some changes that I want to make in my life. I need to have a foundation that's going to support it. It's not good if you're, buying a 100-pound what's it and you're planning on putting it on a 10-pound stand. That 100-pound what's it's going to squash that stand like a bug, right? So you want to make sure that you are establishing a solid foundation for what it is that you are building, creating, bringing into your life. It all starts with getting out of the head and allowing the heart and the soul to move forward and to take center stage. All right, and this week for our oracle reading, I have not pulled from this deck in quite some time. This is Yasmin Boland's Moonology deck. And it always has really interesting messages for me when I'm reading from it. Your dreams need a practical plan. Full moon in Taurus. So when we think about Taurus and Taurians, the oldest, I'm going to say the oldest-ish energy of the astrological wheel, the zodiac wheel. Taurians are all about tradition, sensuality, really understanding that sometimes they get stuck. The bull is stubborn. Sometimes they get stuck in the old ways of doing things. They're afraid of change. Well, what were we just talking about here? Change is inevitable. Change is happening. It's important. So how you can sort of move forward into this change rather than allowing the fear to take over, the ego to step in and do its work, you can have a practical plan, or you can have a slightly structured goal that you can focus, or list that you can focus. Your dreams need a practical plan. It's one thing to be pie in the sky and to have all these fanciful dreams. It's another thing to actually bring it into your reality. And it's interesting that we have swords, which again is air, the element of air. So in the realm of the mind, thinking, imaginative, intuition. In order to bring those intuitive thoughts into being, you need an earth sign, and Taurus is very earthy. It's an earth sign and earth energy that's coming in. So we do need the earthly element to help us to ground what it is that we are bringing into the mix. And if we're creating our solid foundation, this is going to help because we do have a practical plan. At the very least, you have a structure that can hold what it is that you're creating. Even if you're not sure how big it's necessarily going to be, you're already working towards those steps. Also, I'm really drawn to the colors in this particular full moon. We've got pink. So it looks like it's actually the moon, but it looks a little bit like the earth, a little bit like a globe. It's got purple, sorry, not purple. It's got sort of the blues and the greens, you know, the ocean color, and then the greens, and then it's got the pink. Very heart-based. Taurians are very heart-centered individuals. Sometimes they get too caught up in their heads because they are sort of an earthy sign. They can get, when they're out of balance and they're not really fully in their earthy sign element, they can get very pie in the sky about things. This is saying bring it into the heart. When we think of the earth, it's the ground beneath us, and we think of the air, it's the air above us, above and below. Where is the heart? Even in the body, the heart is sort of in the center, right? The heart is in the middle. The heart can be the anchor. So when you're creating this practical plan, do it from a heart-based space. Do it from that perspective of, okay, I'm going to heal myself. I'm going to get off of this merry-go-round and I'm going to heal myself. You know, I'm going to break out of this pattern, or I'm going to do things a little bit differently. I'm going to take care of myself, the pink, self-love and self-care. It's also unconditional love. Going back to that parent thing, whatever it is I'm getting there about, you know, parents with your kids, it's unconditional love as well as the self-love and self-care. How can you teach your kids to love unconditionally and to be there for themselves when you're not doing it for you? Remember, we are a shining example, and sometimes the shining example is the practical plan. You know, you do you. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can be a work in progress, because we all are. But your dreams need that practical plan. Very, very interesting today. All right, let's pull a feather from the feather jar. Just before I filmed this, I had a delicious breakfast/lunch of leftovers from P.F. Chang's. So delicious. And now I'm like uber conscious that I have like seeds in my teeth or something. So hopefully that's not the case. We have just breathe. So, and this feather has been coming up a lot in the last couple of months as well. I feel like this is a message from our dream teams specifically, directly, that you just need to go back to the breath. When all else fails, when you are feeling panicked because you don't have a plan, when you are having a hard time getting out of monkey mind and you're not really sure where to go, just breathe. That's the answer to everything. Go back to the breath. You know, I talk about this a lot too. Everything begins and ends with the breath. We don't have life without that breath. And from a meditative perspective, in a meditative state, and from a state of bringing yourself back into your body, the breath is what's going to do it. And isn't that funny? I'm talking about meditation, where we think often about, you know, sort of leaving the body a little bit, having a, you know, sort of an otherworldly journey. But you have to be grounded in the body in order to be able to make that happen. This is the quickest way to reconnect with the body, by breathing. And it's breathing, I want to say, a little more deeply or a little more consciously. You know, we don't think about the breath. We just breathe and it happens, right? It's one of those miraculous things of life that, you know, it's unconscious or subconscious in the way that it is, but it's always happening. So become more conscious of the breath. Feel Mother Earth breathing you. Feel the moon breathing you. Breathe into that space, even if it's just for 30 seconds. That's going to bring you back into the body and help you to get out of the monkey mind, off that hamster wheel, and into, oh, okay, I am in this body right now. I am on this planet. I do have a life here. And in this moment, I just need to reconnect with the body and connect with that heart and that soul space in order to be able to move forward. Just breathe. Super important message for us to have. All right, folks, that is our reading for the week. Oh, and I forgot again, if you like what you see here, feel free to like, subscribe, and click the bell on my YouTube channel. I'm always releasing all sorts of fun goodies and things on there to share with the world. So share and share alike. I also have my Facebook page, The Black Feather Intuitive, Insta, The Black Feather Intuitive, and my website, theblackfeatherintuitive.com, www, of course, theblackfeatherintuitive.com. Just want to make mention that if you're interested in learning about the archangels, I offer a monthly workshop called Archangel Conversations. And this month we are going to be learning all about Archangel Raziel and what he can do for us. He is the Archangel of esoteric wisdom and knowledge, and we need some of that wisdom and knowledge. And this month, the theme is about embracing your superpower, learning about your psychic superpower or superpowers, and how you can unlock them or how you can enhance what you've already got. So if you have an inkling of this, if you think, oh my God, I wish I could be psychic, but I'm not that way at all, but I'm really drawn to all this stuff. I was there once too, and look at me now. So we all have that power. We all have that ability. And Archangel Raziel is coming in to share that with us. It is Saturday, October 23rd, 1 to 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's an exercise, there's a little bit of a learning, a practical application, there's a channeling. I actually channel Archangel Raziel directly for a message for the group. And there's a live Q&A session. So any questions that come up, you can feel free to ask them. Would love to connect with you guys in this way. And if 1 to 2:30 on a Saturday just doesn't work for you, doesn't float your boat in your schedule, don't worry, we record it and we send it off to you just a couple of hours after the workshop is done, and you can watch it at your leisure. So would love to see you there. Thanks so much, guys. Have the most amazing week. Take care, and we will see you next time. Ciao.